Have you ever wondered why 82% of Saudi Arabians live in these specific lines? It's a question that's as fascinating as it is perplexing. We're about to embark on an exploration of this urbanization mystery, unraveling a tapestry woven with threads of geography, culture, and economics. Saudi Arabia, a country renowned for its vast deserts and towering skyscrapers, is home to a population that has chosen to reside in distinct linear patterns. But why? Well, to understand this, we need to first grasp the concept of population density. Population density is essentially the number of people living in a particular area. It's like a human checkerboard where each square represents a piece of land, and the checkers are the people. The more checkers on a square, the higher the population density. And in Saudi Arabia, it seems that 82% of the checkers have chosen to huddle together on specific squares. But what are the factors that contribute to this? It's a complex interplay of elements that we will be exploring throughout this series. To start with, consider the geographical constraints. The vast majority of Saudi Arabia is made up of harsh, inhospitable desert. Human settlements naturally gravitate towards areas with more favorable conditions, such as access to water, fertile land, and navigable terrain. Then, there's the economic angle. Cities often spring up along trade routes, and Saudi Arabia's location as a crossroads between continents has influenced its urban development. The lure of job opportunities and amenities that cities provide also plays a key role in attracting people. Culture and history, too, leave their mark. Cities often grow around historical sites or places of cultural significance, drawing people who feel a connection to these landmarks. So, when we talk about 82% of Saudi Arabians living in specific lines, we're looking at a convergence of geography, economics, and culture. It's a fascinating mix that paints a unique urbanization pattern. As we delve deeper into this phenomenon, we will uncover the layers that make up this intriguing urbanization pattern. Now let's imagine these lines. Invisible threads that bind together 82% of Saudi Arabia's population. These lines we've visualized aren't placed haphazardly. Far from it, they're the product of meticulous planning and geographical considerations. You see, geography isn't just about mountains and rivers. It's also about the invisible lines that dictate where we live, how we live, and why we live there. Imagine a map of Saudi Arabia. Now, overlay these invisible lines, these veins of civilization, onto the map. You'll notice that these lines align with key resources, both natural and man-made. They follow the contours of the land, tracing the paths of water resources, oil reserves, and fertile soil. But it's not just about resources. These lines also follow transportation routes. Highways, rail lines, airports, these are the arteries that connect the heart of the nation to its extremities. They enable the movement of goods, services, and people from one part of the country to another. Now let's take a step back in time. These lines also trace the roots of historical trade. For centuries, the Arabian Peninsula has been a crossroads of civilization. Trade routes crisscrossed the desert, connecting the east with the west. The old caravan routes have evolved into modern highways, but the principle remains the same. People congregate along these lines of communication and trade. These invisible lines are more than just geographical features or transportation routes. They are the lifeblood of Saudi Arabia. They dictate the flow of people and resources, shaping the urbanization of this vast desert nation. To sum it up, these lines are not random. They are the result of careful planning, resource distribution, and historical trade routes. They are the veins and arteries of a nation, directing the flow of life across its vast expanse. These invisible lines, as we see, are not just lines. They are lifelines of this vast desert nation. So what does geography have to do with these lines? Well, it's quite simple, really. Geography is the stage upon which the drama of human civilization unfolds. And in the case of Saudi Arabia, it plays a starring role. Let's start with the basics. Saudi Arabia is largely a desert nation. The vast majority of its landmass is covered by the Arabian Desert, a harsh and unforgiving landscape where temperature extremes are the norm. This reality has shaped and continues to shape the way people live in the kingdom. You see, in such a challenging environment, water becomes a priceless commodity. In the desert, where water is scarce, life clusters around whatever sources are available. This is why, throughout history, human settlements in Saudi Arabia have sprung up around oases and along the coasts where fresh water is accessible. These geographical features naturally draw people towards them, like invisible lines in the sand. The city of Riyadh, for instance, owes its existence to the natural springs that once dotted the area. Jeddah, the country's second-largest city, is perched on the coast of the Red Sea, benefiting from the maritime climate and the sea's resources. In a nutshell, the harsh desert environment and limited water resources have greatly influenced the establishment and growth of cities and towns in Saudi Arabia. They've shaped the patterns of urbanization, leading to the concentration of the population in certain areas, those invisible lines we've been talking about. And it's not just about survival. These geographical factors also impact economic activity. Cities like Dhahran, at the heart of the country's oil-rich eastern province, bear testament to this. It's no coincidence that Saudi Arabia's wealth is concentrated in areas where oil is abundant. So, to answer the question, geography has everything to do with these lines. It's the unseen hand guiding the distribution of Saudi Arabia's population and the driving force behind the country's urbanization. Geography, as it turns out, holds the key to this puzzle. But what does this unique urbanization pattern mean for Saudi Arabia and its people? Urbanization, at its core, is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it signifies progress, development, and modernization. Concentrated urbanization, such as what we see in Saudi Arabia, can lead to efficient use of resources. It's like having all your eggs in a few baskets. You can keep a closer eye on them. For instance, services such as water, electricity, and waste management can be distributed more efficiently in a densely populated city as opposed to a sparsely populated rural area. Similarly, urbanization fosters economic growth by creating a concentrated hub of activity. Industries thrive, trade flourishes, and jobs are created. Education and healthcare facilities are more accessible, leading to an improvement in the overall standard of living. It's a bustling ecosystem that feeds off itself, growing and evolving with time. But there's another side to this coin. With rapid urban growth come challenges that can't be brushed under the carpet. One of the most pressing of these is the strain on resources. As more people flock to the urban areas, the demand for water, electricity, and other resources skyrockets. The infrastructure, often unprepared for such a surge, struggles to keep up. Environmental concerns also come into the picture. High levels of pollution, congested traffic, and the heat island effect are just a few of the issues that come along with dense urbanization. The natural landscape often pays the price for this urban expansion, leading to loss of biodiversity and degradation of natural habitats. Then there's the social aspect. Urban areas, while providing opportunities, can also lead to social inequality. The divide between the haves and the have-nots becomes more apparent. Affordable housing becomes scarce, and the cost of living rises. The unique urbanization pattern in Saudi Arabia, with a staggering 82% of its population living in urban areas, is a phenomenon that offers an intriguing case study. It's a delicate balancing act, managing the benefits and challenges that come with such a high level of urbanization. This level of urbanization presents both opportunities and challenges for Saudi Arabia. So, where does Saudi Arabia go from here? As we delve into the future of Saudi Arabia's urbanization, we find that its vision is anchored in sustainable growth and effective resource management. The kingdom isn't just expanding its urban areas haphazardly. It's thoughtfully planning and executing a vision that's as vast as the desert sands themselves. Saudi Arabia's urban future is encapsulated in ambitious projects like NEOM, a 26,000 square kilometer smart city that's set to become a hub for innovation, technology, and sustainable living. These initiatives point towards a future where urbanization doesn't just mean more buildings, but smarter, more efficient ones. Beyond the cities, Saudi Arabia is also looking at sustainable resource management. The kingdom is acutely aware of its water scarcity issue and is pioneering solutions like solar-powered desalination plants and water recycling initiatives. It's a testament to the country's commitment to balance growth with environmental responsibility. And it's not just about the cities and resources. Saudi Arabia's future urbanization strategy also puts emphasis on human capital. The Saudi Vision 2030 places great importance on improving the quality of life, enhancing the skills of the nation's youth, and creating a vibrant society that's not just focused on oil revenue. It's a holistic approach that recognizes that true urbanization isn't just about the physical landscape but the people who inhabit it. The plans for Saudi Arabia's urban future are grand, yes, but they're also grounded in reality. The country recognizes the challenges it faces and is proactively working to address them. It's a testament to Saudi Arabia's ability to adapt, innovate, and transform. As we've discovered, understanding these lines is key to understanding Saudi Arabia's past, present, and future. The lines on the map are more than just boundaries. They're a story of survival, growth, and a vision for the future. So as we watch the lines on the map continue to shift and evolve, we're not just seeing a country change, we're witnessing a nation's journey into a future defined by innovation, sustainability, and the sheer will to thrive.
Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notification and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.